In the early hours of June 22, 1941, the silence of the eastern frontier was shattered. 3 million German soldiers crossed into Soviet territory, the largest invasion in human history. Codename Operation Barbarossa, it was Adolf Hitler's attempt to destroy the Soviet Union, seize its vast lands, and achieve the living space he dreamed of for his empire. But what began as a lightning strike would soon become a brutal war of attrition and Hitler's greatest mistake. Just 2 years earlier, Germany and the Soviet Union had been uneasy partners. In August 1939, the Nazi-Soviet pact shocked the world. Hitler and Stalin agreed not to attack each other and to secretly divide Eastern Europe. That deal allowed Hitler to invade Poland and launch World War II without fear of Soviet intervention. But this peace was always temporary. Hitler viewed the Soviet Union as the ultimate enemy, the home of Jewish Bolshevism and millions of so-called inferior Slavs. He dreamed of conquering it, enslaving its people, and exploiting its vast resources. On December 18, 1940, Hitler signed Directive No. 21, the order of Operation Barbarossa. The goal: advance to the so-called AA line, stretching from Archangel in the north to the Strecke in the south, cutting the Soviet Union in half. Germany committed 148 divisions, including 17 panzer divisions with over 3,000 tanks and 2,700 aircraft. 3 army groups would spearhead the attack. Army Group North through the Baltic states to capture Leningrad. Army Group Center through Belarus to seize Moscow. Army Group South through Ukraine to reach the Black Sea. Hitler expected victory in 10 weeks. Before dawn on June 22, the German artillery opened fire. The Luftwaffe struck Soviet airfields, destroying 1,800 aircraft in a single day. Within weeks, the Wehrmacht encircled hundreds of thousands of Red Army soldiers. At Minsk, Smolensk, and Uman, entire Soviet armies were wiped out. To the south, German panzers closing on Kiev, capturing over 600,000 prisoners. To the north, they reached the outskirts of Leningrad, beginning what will become an 890-day siege. By midsummer, Hitler's army seemed unstoppable, but cracks were already forming. Hitler halted the drive toward Moscow, diverting his tanks north and south. His generals protested. They were only 200 miles from the Soviet capital, but Hitler wanted the economic riches of Ukraine and the oil of the south. Meanwhile, supply lines stretched thin. German troops marched hundreds of miles on foot, horses pulling most of the artillery. Fuel and ammunition ran out. The vast distance of the Soviet Union swallowed their momentum. As the summer turned to autumn, torrential rains arrived. The dirty roads of Russia dissolved into rivers of mud. The Rasputitsa, vehicles sank, horses died, entire columns ground to a halt. The Blitzkrieg, built on speed, was now crawling through a swamp. By the time the ground froze solid, it was winter, and the German army was still hundreds of miles from victory. On October 2, Hitler launched Operation Typhoon, the final push toward Moscow. At first, success seemed within reach. 2 massive encirclements near Bryansk and Wehrmacht captured 600,000 Soviet troops. But the delay had been fatal. The weather turned again, and the temperature dropped to -40. Engines froze, weapons jammed, and soldiers wrapped themselves in rags. Then, on December 5, 1941, the Red Army counterattacked. Fresh Siberian divisions, trained for the cold, hurled the Germans backward. The invasion had failed. Despite its early victories, Operation Barbarossa was doomed by its own flaws. Hitler believed the war would last weeks, not years. The Germans underestimated Soviet manpower and industry. Overconfidence. German tanks were advanced, but too few with no reserves. Supplies could not reach the front across vast, destroyed railways. The weather, neither equipment nor soldiers were prepared for the Russian winter. And most of all, Soviet resistance. The Red Army refused to collapse. Soviet industry was relocated east, producing tanks and weapons faster than Germany could destroy them. By the end of 1941, over 4 million soldiers were dead, wounded, or missing. Germany have lost 750,000 men. The Soviet Union, several million more. But Stalin's empire had survived. Hitler's war of annihilation had become a war he could never win. The failure of Barbarossa marked the beginning of the Nazi Germany's decline, and the Eastern Front will now devour the Reich, one battle at a time. From the frozen fields outside Moscow, the Red Army would rise again, and 4 years later, it will march into Berlin. Hi, my name is Mike. Welcome to the Lay Historian channel. If you like the content, please subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.